For those of you that got divorced after being married for 10 plus years, what caused your divorce? Today would be my 25th wedding anniversary. I did not expect to see this subject string as the top comment to this post. My marriage didn't end in divorce, it ended in the suicide of my wife 3 years ago. She had been going downhill mentally since 2013, but COVID exacerbated everything. She suffered from a foot that required multiple surgeries. I was furloughed for 6 months and she couldn't handle it when I went back to work. She became delusional and violent. I took one day for myself to recover and came home to my lifeless wife who had downed a bottle of Oxys. Happy anniversary to me. My ex thought he did his share because he'd wash his own dishes and his own clothes. Like, yeah, that's a start, but what about all the chores that aren't directly one person's fault? Like the vacuuming, mopping, dusting, wiping down counters, scrubbing, primarily his bodily fluids and pubes, off the toilet, scrubbing the tub, taking out trash and recycling, cleaning the litter box, cooking, household shopping, etc. We also rented, so we didn't have to do any of the lawn care or snow removal, but I knew if we bought a house all of that would be my responsibility too, since he'd always brag about how he had never mowed a lawn in his life. He was in his mid-30s. And I definitely couldn't imagine him helping out with the messes our future kids would make. When I was in the midst of divorce from my husband of 20 years, I remember him saying he would take a bullet for me and I wouldn't do the same for him. I told him I never asked him to take a bullet for me, I only asked him to put his dirty socks in the hamper. He was enraged. He refused to understand what I was saying and turned it back around to him being a better spouse than me because of this mythical bullet that most likely would never exist and not the very real disgusting socks all over the house. He just wouldn't, is a better explanation for my ex than anything I've been able to come up with myself to summarize it in a nutshell. About 5 years into the relationship, he started deciding he wasn't doing anything he didn't want to do. Unfortunately, parenting and adulting do not work like that. He did work and did contribute financially, but he wouldn't budget and felt entitled to every penny he earned plus my income. He wouldn't clean unless forced. He didn't cook unless forced. He didn't do anything that he didn't personally enjoy with the kids unless forced. He didn't take his antidepressants unless forced. Forcing him to behave like an adult all day every day was fucking exhausting. Life is much easier without him. Unfortunately, we aren't truly free of him because he and I had kids together and he still isn't adulting. The onion rings. Our marriage was awful, 10 plus years of severe emotional abuse, gaslighting, and religious trauma. We had stopped having sex 4 years in. I was depressed. He hated how ungodly I had become, deconstructing. But we didn't believe in divorce. I was tied to him forever. One day we went to a diner and I asked him to order me a sandwich with a side of onion rings if the waitress came while I went to the bathroom. I tried to break the usual tension by making a joke or being cute. When I came back to the table, he told me he had ordered our food, so I joked about how onion rings must be healthy since they were a vegetable. He told me I was stupid for believing such nonsense. How dumb I was for ordering onion rings. He ranted for 5 minutes about how any idiot who thinks onion rings are healthy should know that the frying process takes out all the nutrients and they're the most unhealthy thing anyone could eat. I sat in silence, defeated. Afraid to eat. Afraid to annoy him any further. Then the waitress brought out our order. My sandwich with a side of onion rings. And his chicken wrap, with a side of onion rings. Something inside me snapped. All I could do was stare at his plate. It was somehow a literal, physical representation of our entire relationship staring me in the face. He ate every last damn onion ring. It took me a year to set myself up to leave, safely. But I got out and never looked back. He remarried 3 months after our divorce was finalized. It took me a solid year before I could even go on one single date again.